Some business mistakes are so huge, they literally change history. During this video, we will be breaking down the worst business decisions ever made, explained in the simplest way for better understanding. From Blockbuster saying no to Netflix to Kodak ignoring digital cameras, you will see how small choices turned into billion-dollar disasters. We will explain why these companies made those decisions, what went wrong, and what we can all learn from their mistakes, all in plain, easy-to-understand language. Story 1. Schlitz Beer's Recipe Change, 1976. CEO Robert Uihlein Jr. replaced malted barley with corn syrup and added stabilizers to cut costs. Drinkers noticed a thin taste, weak foam, and metallic aftertaste, calling it soap-like taste. Sales dropped by 1977. Competitors like Budweiser mocked it in ads. The company doubled down with pasteurization, causing bottles to cloud under light. By 1981, Schlitz fell to 7th place, ruining its reputation. Story 2. Quaker Oats buys Snapple, 1994. Quaker acquired Snapple for $1.7 billion, expecting synergy like with Gatorade. But Snapple's quirky distribution didn't fit Quaker's supermarket model, leading to delays and empty shelves. Rivals Coca-Cola and Pepsi launched competing teas. Quaker lost $1.4 billion by 1997 and ended up selling it to Triarch for $300 million, a fraction of the purchase. Story 3. Decca Records rejects the Beatles, 1962. The Beatles were turned away by Decca, who favored another band and said guitar groups were on the way out. Epstein secured a deal with Parlophone. With George Martin, they became global stars by 1964. Decca became a symbol of poor judgment. Story 4. New Coke launch, 1985. Coca-Cola introduced sweeter New Coke to beat Pepsi in blind tests. Backlash was fierce. Consumers protested, formed groups like Old Cola Drinkers of America, and hoarded original Coke. Sales sank. Pepsi advertised victory. Coca-Cola reverted to Coca-Cola Classic after 79 days. Story 5. Sony's Betamax versus VHS, 1975. Sony released Betamax for sharp playback, but tapes lasted only hours. JVC's VHS offered longer recording by 2 to 4 hours. It was licensed widely and filled stores. Studios favored VHS. By mid-1980s, VHS held 70% market. Sony conceded in 1988. Story 6. BlackBerry refuses to adapt, 2007. Executives mocked touchscreens, sticking to keyboards. They had dominating business with secure email. They ignored iPhone Android features like apps and cameras. Late App Store and clumsy touch models led to market share dropping from 20% to under 1% by 2013. Story 7. Microsoft misses mobile, 2007. Steve Ballmer dismissed iPhone as overpriced. Microsoft had 70% mobile OS share via Windows Mobile, but responded slowly. Windows Phone launched late in 2010 with few apps. $7.2 billion Nokia acquisition in 2013 was written off. Story 8. Yahoo rejects buying Google, 1998. Yahoo turned down Google's $1 million, 1998, and $3 billion 2002 offers, seeing search as secondary utility. Built own tools but lagged, Google went public at $23 billion in 2004. Yahoo's value shrank. Ultimately, it was sold to Verizon for $4.48 billion in 2017. Google now exceeds $1.5 trillion. Story 9. Nokia Collapse, 2010. CEO Stephen Elop admitted trouble as iPhone Android surged. Symbian became outdated. Bet on Windows Phone in 2011 flopped. Market share fell below 5% by 2013. Microsoft bought handsets for $7.2 billion, which later became a loss. Story 10. Blockbuster rejects Netflix, 2000. Blockbuster ridiculed Netflix's $50 million buyout offer. Dominating with stores, they missed out to identify streaming shift in 2007. They clung to late fees and became bankrupt by 2010. Netflix now is worth over $200 billion. Bonus story. Kodak fails to adapt, 1975. In 1975, engineer Stephen Sasson invented the first digital camera. But executives suppressed it to protect film profits. It was holding 90% U.S. market share. Rivals like Sony entered digital space in the 1990s. Kodak joined late, losing $30 billion in value by 2012 and ultimately filing bankruptcy. Embracing digital could have made it worth hundreds of billions. Bonus story number 2. In 2001, America Online, AOL, and Time Warner aimed to combine the leading internet service provider with a traditional media giant. It created a $350 billion entity, AOL-Time Warner, intended to dominate digital and traditional media. However, the deal is considered one of the worst mergers in history, plagued by cultural clashes and the dot-com bubble burst, leading to a $99 billion loss in 2002. Stock tanked over $100 billion. They split in 2009. This showed mergers aren't always magic. Bonus story number 3. In 2012, J.C. Penney, an iconic American retail company under newly appointed CEO Ron Johnson, who was fresh from Apple, decided to replace traditional sales, coupons, and discounts with everyday low-price strategy. Though it sounds modern, but shoppers loved earlier model of sales. As a result, sales came down drastically. The company's stock value fell by more than 50%. Company fired Ron in 2013 and went back to old ways. Crazy how ignoring your crowd can tank everything overnight. These stories show how arrogance, ignoring customers, and failure to innovate can doom even giants. What can we learn? Stay adaptable and listen up. If you liked this, subscribe for more videos.